Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again, and we've got some matches up against my man Will here that also has one of the playmats, one of the serialized playmats with the number 47 in the top right. Yeah, he and I ended up making it into the top 4 and play in the top cut here. Best of 3 matches. He's rocking the purple Kaido from starter deck 4. I'm also rocking Magellan. And these end up being fantastic matches. Just a lot of points in here to kind of go back and see through. I wanted to upload these because I think there were definitely some learning moments. It was very hard fought. This wasn't just an easy, game for either of us, but it definitely felt like certain turns turned out a little a little unfortunate. We'll see, as you'll see, but he does go swing 5 here on the first turn. I'll counter out with Mino Zebra, and he gets Onigashima down on that turn 2 to get the early ramp, and he did not miss Onigashima all day. I tell you what, this man had Onigashima left and right, but I do put down the Mino Koala, and he goes ahead and gets it KO'd with King here. And this does ramp us up to 7 Dawn though, which is really nice because we get the 1 ramp from Mino Koala, and now I can get Kid down on turn 3. Love to see that. And now I'll see a 7k swing at life, getting him down to 3, and I'm feeling really good about this at the moment. I'm like, okay, we have right now 7-cost Kid. He could potentially ramp, get his own 7-cost Kid down, but I think that we're the aggressor. We've got a potential for maybe getting him down to 1 life in this following turn. And now we will see a 6k swing come into life, bringing it up with the 7-cost Kid, and now probably just a 7k swing with King, maybe just a little 8k poke. We're definitely going to be taking this one, and we pick up another blocker, which is really nice. So we could just block her up and go pretty heavy into the life, or I could try and get rid of King here. And I think that this is why I found these matches kind of interesting, because there were situations where I feel like I made maybe some like small mistakes that definitely put me behind a little bit. I get 2 cards here, and I think we end up getting quite a bit of counter power, if I remember correctly. Yeah, we got Thunder Bagua and Khalifa. So with my opponent not having too much counter power after picking off both of those, I choose to go into the King. I don't hate it, but at the same time, he does counter out, saving the life right here. Going down to 3 cards in hand, I could just go pretty heavy and swing 10k into the King, or I can go for life and then potentially try and play a blocker or something. But I choose to go 10k into the King. I think what might have been better here would have been a 7k to life, and then play the Little Sadie, bringing out the Mino Koala, so that we have a few swings for the following turn as well. And 9-cost Kaido just goes ahead and just kind of wrecks me here. I should have known that this was coming, and it gets rid of Law and now opens up a potential attack into my Captain Kid. Leader is at 6, but with him having that swing as well as leader swing, it's pretty rough. So I use a 2k and a 1k here to get out of that. But we will see a 9k swing, I believe, going into the Kid, and I do save it, but it's just a little too late. And now with that 6 at life, we're just going to have to take, and I don't feel as good as I did previously now. I felt like I was in a winning position, but just that 1 turn alone has kind of like swapped the tides in the favor of my opponent. We probably could have just went for life there, and it would have allowed him to play 9-cost Kaido, but he would have been in a position that would have been much worse to try and go for game with us having 2 blockers up. and being able to protect Kid, but also having multiple swings the next turn while having him at potentially 1 life or 2 at the very least. Now I will go 4 here for the Mino Koala. I can dedicate all of my Dawn onto Captain Kid and try and go for Kaido, but I am just going to go 10 into the Captain Kid, bringing it down, or excuse me, bring leader up to 7. We do get it here, which feels pretty good. And now I'll probably just swing 7 to life, leaving 2 active to try and bluff that we have the Hell's Judgment. Yep, and so I will go 7. He does take this one, thankfully. And keeping leader at 6 though. Keeping leader at 6 is nice, because now that we've gotten rid of Kid, it does make Kaido swinging into leader just a little more difficult. But, you know, if he puts down like a queen here or starts getting some of that block going, then it can be pretty rough for us trying to go for game. Especially with, you know, if we see like a 6 or a 7k swing at life. And he is going 5. I told him, yeah, I am at 6 at the moment. And so he will just attach 1 Dawn to bring it up to 6 real fast. I'm considering whether I want to take this life or not. I'm thinking about how much Dawn he has for leader ability potentially, but countering out does force me to end up, you know, potentially not having the counter power to protect Captain Kid, and instead using Mino Koala when I'm going to try and, you know, probably go for game the following turn, or at least just getting, I don't know, just getting some cards out of hand and then blockering up if possible. But the 11k, I believe, is coming down at Kid right now. And since I don't have Hell's Judgment, this is pretty tricky for me, because I'm going to have to give him at least 2 cards. I got to give him 2 2k counters if I want to save it. And I don't think that I have like that availability in my hand. So I believe I just end up blocking with the Mino Koala, if I'm not mistaken. It's like I think I had 1 2k and 2 1ks that I could have just, you know, potentially got out of this attack, but it would have cost me like pretty much my entire hand. And I get to ramp up though, blocking with the Mino Koala. Not exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that since he had 5 Dawn, I was probably going to be seeing a queen anyways. This now makes 9-drop Kaido like almost impossible to KO. Realistically, with queen on board, we can't really go for Kaido. We just got to go for life and hope that we can block her up pretty heavy and survive the following turn. But that's going to be very, very difficult. He's going up to 9 Dawn the next turn. 10 with Onigashima. Could play another Kaido potentially. But I will get down the Mino Koala and probably just swing 7 and 8. It's like 8 with lead, or excuse me, 8 with Captain Kid and then 7 with lead, to try and get some of these final life out of the way. And yeah, I think that's what we're going for. We're going to go 8 at life, bringing leader up to 7, and then a good old-fashioned 7k, putting down another Mino Koala. He does take this life, though. Will he block the next is really the question. We're not going to leave 2 up. We're just going to go 9. He does block with queen and then has the 2 2k counters to get out of it. And I'll just put down the Mino Koala. But now another 9-cost Kaido is just extremely scary here with him having queen up. Potential for Blast Breath, because I knew that he was running Blast Breath in this list as well. But actually, no, he wouldn't have the potential for that because he's at 9. Onigashima only ramps the rest of Dawn here. But it looks like we'll just see 7 for Kid. And he's just not missing. He is not missing. He's seeing all the pieces, the right amount of counter, you know, the right cards at the right time. Definitely difficult for us to deal with. If he goes 10 into the Captain Kid, it's still pretty rough to defend here. I think that our hand is like 2 Magellans or something like that, and like an X-Drake. So not looking super spiffy. Not looking super spiffy at all. But looks as though he does use the leader ability to KO my last life, and then swings 10 to life and then 6 to life, and I'll just have to counter out of that. And now with him having blocker up, 1 life, and me having 3 swings, I'm just gonna have to attempt to go for game here, because I know for a fact that I do not have the ability to KO the KO the Kaido. The Captain Kid's just going to be on the board. Yeah, there's not much in the hand that gives us an opportunity. Queen, you know, is a maybe here, but that's like, I'd have to pick up probably 2 Hell's Judgments or something. Maybe like Queen picks up Hannibal into a Hell's Judgment, but unfortunately no Queen. And now I'm just kind of doing some math in my head, and I think after I was looking at this, it looked like I could have went 10, 10, 10, if I'm not mistaken. But I decided to try and go for 9, 10, 11 to be a little greedier and hope that the 9K would get through first. And it does look like he ends up countering this with the 2 active Dawn. Does Thunder Bagua and hits me with a John Bart. Unfortunately, that's just going to be the game. I just got a scoop here. There's no way I'd be able to get it. Yeah, hoping to see that, you know, a 9, 10, 11 would potentially work, but he had enough counter. He told me he actually had an extra 2K counter in hand as well. So you can try, but that one definitely escaped us. And it was kind of funny. We were talking about it during the match, is that we both only run 2 9-cost Kaidos, and I never saw one throughout any of my matches throughout the entire day. Until our second match here coming up in just a moment. And he saw one in every single match and only ran 2. And I was like, what is my luck, man? You know, sometimes the heart of the cards just aren't with you, I guess. But going into second match, I'm trying to do a little bit better of a job of being a little more aggressive. I think having the useless Captain Kid on turn 3 was pretty massive for us that turn. But I think we messed up our turn 4, where we could have been a lot more aggressive and went for life and then blockered up. But instead, I think that I can't remember exactly what my thought process was. I think I might have actually just forgot that he was going to be at 9 Dawn for Kaido there, and yeah, just kind of messed that all up. But Hannibal on turn 1, you see that I'm bottom decking a 9-cost Kaido. Hate to see it, but happens all the time. And now I will pick up the Mino Koala. That card is just so nice in a lot of these matchups. And just being able to get that ramp, but also potentially get some aggression as well. Absolutely love it. And I'm going to do a 5K at life here. He's thinking about countering out, taking some time to decide on the card, and then I'll just go 5K with Hannibal one more time. Does get the first life, and I am happy. I'm like, okay, no turn 3 play like Mino Rhinoceros or potentially a little Sadie, but you know, I'm not really sweating it here. We pick up Queen, which is pretty great. Love to see that always. Onigashima does ramp him up to 5 Dawn, I believe, right now. So next turn we're probably going to be seeing 7-cost Kid. And I'll just go ahead and get Magellan down. Swinging 6 to life. There's an easy counter out for him. It's not, we're not aggressive enough, but I need to get that 6K body on the board because I know that Kid is more likely than not coming down here. He's had it every time, so why wouldn't he have it now? It's like both of us had been seeing that card usually on curve, but we don't end up seeing it. So a little 6K poke and a Queen here. Onigashima does keep that Dawn on the board, trashing Magellan as well. And now I have a 6-cost Kid as well as a 7-cost, or excuse me, 6-cost King as well as a 7-cost Kid in hand. And I think getting King down without curve, or excuse me, without the effect is a possibility, but I think that I messed this up a little bit. I don't mind putting down King here. I just really think that putting down Queen would have been a lot more helpful for me in this situation. I decided to put down King. It's just that my hand, it was so bricked up, and I want to play 7-cost Kid the following turn. And I shouldn't say so bricked up, but my hand wasn't, pardon me, my hand wasn't what I was looking for in dealing with what I knew he was going to play, right? And I wanted to get Queen down to have like a little bit of defense, and I just didn't do so. It would have saved me a 2K counter more than likely, and we're going to see a 7K swing coming down at life here. I think we're just going to end up taking this one. Does he swing with Queen? Does not. Now I've got a little pressure to go with. 7-cost kid, you know, does help out. It's just a little unfortunate. I would have probably liked to get queen down, but we can always do a queen into a Mino Koala the following turn. And I've got a 6k here with Magellan. I think that I slightly messed this up. I think that I should have just attached the last Dawn that I had to Magellan, and I could have went 7, 7, and then 7 with leader. But I decided to just go 8 here, which is a pretty easy take for him. At least we get one of the life gone, though. We've got him down to 2, so he's within KO range. But now we are going to see some attacks coming down onto the board. 9-cost Kaido goes extra hard here, and would you guess it, he doesn't miss. He's got it. He KOs the king here, and you know, has so many swings that he can do. He can go into the Magellan, which if he does, you know, that Magellan is going to bring him down to, you know, I think he'd be at 3 Dawn. So the following turn he would only have 5. And I think in my mind, I was like, yeah, I probably don't need the Magellan all that much. But I do choose to counter out of the 6 or 8k swing to life first. And then we see a 10k to Magellan, and I'll just let it go. He does subtract the 2, but that was a very important swing for us. And now we've dwindled in hand size. Queen is looking very appetizing here. We do need to get some big swings across the board, though. And yet again, if I remember correctly, I think I end up choking this turn again. I think that I play queen, but I swing heavy with the Eustace Captain Kid into his own Eustace Captain Kid. I just wanted to get the card off the board, and I'm not ecstatic about the fact that I didn't just go for life here. I think we were ahead. We were looking good. We finally do draw our 9-cost Kaido, though, and I'll trash the Mino Rhinoceros. We also pick up Hell's Judgment, so leaving 2 open here is a potential, but I think I could just go very heavy to life. He does have 1 Dawn active, so potentially a Blast Breath that we might see here. I'm going to do another Dawn minus effect to bring leader up to 7. I believe I just go 8 to life, and then I attach the rest to lead, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like 8 to life, and he counters or blocks with queen or counters with Blast Breath. Yeah. So we'll see Blast Breath here, getting out of the 8 to life. And now I'm like, okay, I can get rid of the blocker if I swing heavy into Kid, or I can just go for life. And if I remember correctly, yep, I just go into the Kid here, and we get the block. I should have went live. Yeah, so the reason why I wanted to upload these matches was because there's definitely a lot of learning moments that, you know, I had the ability to apply pressure here, and I didn't. Obviously, the clapback of him having Kaido, Kid, as well as Queen is just, you know, very, very real. We are going to see a 10k swing. I think 11 was such a dedication too. It's like I could have just kept 2 active for Hell's Judgment, but I think I wanted to not. I think I decided not to save the 2 because I wouldn't have been able to get to 9 the following turn to play Kaido. But yeah, I do counter out of this Kid swing with a 2k and a 1k, and now we're going to be forced to block pretty heavy here. If he swings with Kaido, and then if we block, that means the leader just gets a free poke at life. So 6k, I'm now down to 2 cards in hand, being Hell's Judgment and 9-cost Kaido. I pick up a second Hell's Judgment right here. Yes, we do have the 9-cost Kaido, but for what, really? You know, we could have potentially had him at 1 life, and yes, his queen would have been alive, but we would have been able to get the queen KO'd off the board with 9-cost Kaido. And then he only has 3 life to get through. We could have swung into the Eustace Captain Kid and then into life, or gone for game that turn with, you know, how many swings we had. There was definitely a lot of options, and I think we just kind of missed the mark here a little bit. Now I have to dedicate Dawn extremely heavily if I want to KO anything on this board. I have to go 12 into the kid if I want to, and it's just not doing it for me. 12 into kid, Dawn -1, bringing leader up to 7. Allows me to go an 11k swing if I really want to into the into the Kaido, but I choose to go 9 into life and then passing it over with 2 active for Hell's Judgment. We are at 3 life. It doesn't look extremely grim, but with Onigashima these past few turns, he's able to get up to, you know, a spot where playing blockers is pretty easy. You know, he'll have a queen, he'll have drawn into a bunch of different cards. Oh, this actually blew my mind. I think he told me that he only runs 2 queens in the list. And he found both of them this game, and I was like, oh my god. It felt abysmal. But the 14k swing into the kid does force that to go here, and then we'll probably just see, oh, okay, so we see an 8k swing at life. Now, I have Hanyu Ball on board, obviously. You know, how great is that? But I'm counting how much Dawn he has. He's at 8, I believe, right now. Yeah, looks like 8. So following turn, he's going to be at 10. I do choose to take this, knowing that I have the 2 Hell's Judgments in hand, but I just don't think that's going to be enough to save me here. I am going to have to go pretty heavy, either like all Dawn onto the Kaido, or I'm going to have to go everything onto, you know, his life. But he does have 7 in hand, so we are able to get some cards out. We get a 2k counter and a 0-cost event here. I'm pretty happy about that because I needed to get some counter power out of his hand. But little did I know his entire hand was counter power. So it's still not looking extremely clear. I'm going to go 7 to life. I kind of hate it. I think I should have went 9 here. And I think the 2 for Hell's Judgment would have been just fine. But I do decide to just go 7, and then I'll pass it over with 4 active for the Hell's Judgments. But yeah, I'm not extremely happy about the situation. We're not in a great spot here. I'll just go ahead and pass. And now Kaido, as well as leader ability, leader swing, getting down a blocker. You know, if he's got queen, if he's got wire. You know, we saw him counter out with wire earlier. Doesn't seem like a card he's used very much in any of the matches so far, but you know, it is a possibility. But we do see the 6 for King KOing Law here, and yeah, now he's just got open reign to go swing really heavy into leader, as well as use leader ability. So we will see a 9k swing. I know that if I take this, he's just going to use leader ability and then go 10 with Kaido, and so that was my plan. I was like, okay, I can bait him 10 with Kaido. I just use both Hell's Judgments to get out of this, or potentially whatever counter power I do get out of life. But sadly, I had to use both, if I'm not mistaken, both Hell's Judgments here. So I'm just kind of banking on my top card here being like a 2k counter, and if it is, we're looking good. Sadly, it's a Magellan, so it doesn't do me much. 7 cost does, or 7 Dawn minus does get rid of the queen here, so I'll have to use Hell's Judgment to bring Kaido down to 7. And now I don't have I don't have 3 1k counters or a 2k and a 1k to get out of this, so I have to use Hell's Judgment one more time. And now he passes it over. I know that my turn is very simple here. I just add my Dawn back. I believe we're at 9, maybe 8. And yeah, I'm just going to have to swing 8 and 8. So 8k and 8k. But he gets out of it with a 2k counter and a 2k counter. And then I just swing 8 again, and he takes that life and then counters out as well. So really good matches up against Will here. It just felt like I was playing against an immovable object. And you know, he just had the right answers and drew the cards on curve that, you know, were just devastating for me to try and deal with. But all in all, I thought these were fantastic matches, and shout out to him. He took the dub yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the matches. Let me know your thoughts, and I will catch y'all in the next one. All right, peace.